Hi again, everybody. Bill Huddleston along with the coach of the Ruffers, Rafe Watkins. Welcome to Ruffer TV as we talk Muskogee Ruffer football here with you today. And Coach, things just continue to pedal right along. Got things kind of where you want them going into the final 2 weeks, even though there's a bye week this week. But what an exciting ball game that was kind of like going to the state fair and riding the roller coaster. It was never-ending action all the way to the very final seconds.
That's true. They take the opening kickoff and go, end up going 80 yards in about 10 or 12 plays and scoring. They kick off to us. We fumble on the second play. They go in and already 13-0, and really people hadn't even got set in the stands yet. And really glad of the way the kids responded. We had some bad breaks during the course of the game. We had some turnovers. Of course, we knew we had that piece in on some of our line. We had a new center in the never taking a snap, and really didn't take a snap until Thursday, but we'd had some problems with the guys during the week of snapping, and we put Nakari Ruffin in, did a pretty good job. He got a little tired, and some of the snaps started going high. Luckily, was able to bring in Reese Blassingame. He settled it down, kind of got us some good snaps. But in the course of the game, playing a very good Sand Springs team, having 5 turnovers, and I call the 2 fourth downs that had bad snaps on that might as well have been turnovers. So really, you had about 7 turnovers. Of course, 1 turnover, as we find out, and after we watched film, it was about like what we thought during the course of the game. And then in the paper this morning, they had I didn't know they had that shot, but it shows Kyrie sitting in the end zone with the ball still in his hand right before the guy had ripped it out, and they called it a fumble. I don't know how much more you could get in the end zone, but luckily that didn't cost us the game, and we built some character during it, come out and got the lead right before halftime to make it 16-13 going in, took this opening second half kickoff, went down, scored again. We're up 30-13, kind of cruising, and kind of like OU with Texas, just put our foot on their throat and finish it, and gave them a chance. And they have a great team. They have a great running back in Peyton Scott, and he brought them back and made it 34-30. And then, of course, we had Speedy, one of our guests today, takes it 98, and we're able to get a field goal late and then hold on defensively. But it was a great game. We hadn't beat Sand Springs. Everybody's made a big deal about the last 6 years. I think that it's been a run, I guess Muskogee had 20 years that they had won, then the 6th now with Sand Springs, and it was good to get that off our back, especially with the way it ended last year with the crazy 2-point conversion and all the ESPN highlights and all the silly stuff that went along with that. But I was really proud of some of the things, of the way the kids responded with the injuries we had, with the course of the game, the ebbs and flows of it, and just to come out there with a victory. And more or less, it's not no guarantee, but it set us up really good for making the playoffs.
Absolutely. And one thing we talk about, and we'll mention more with Jacob Mudano and Deontay Crutchfield will be joining us in the next segment, is the offensive success and the highlights that we'll see here in a moment. Many of those were just spectacular plays. But I really think a key for getting back into the ball game in the first half was how the defense adjusted after that first series. Sandage went 85 yards. 5 of that was a yellow flag, and the other 80 were all Peyton Scott. Right. After that, though, he got virtually nothing until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they settled in. We got to a little bit more of a 5-man front and played better run defense. Coach started moving our ends that crashing down, and that stopped their counter and their power play. If you can't pull your guards and tackles out, that play's over with. And so we were meeting it before they had a chance to pull out. And as great as he is, if he can't do the outside or get up in the holes, and that's where he makes so much of his living. He's got good speed, but he didn't have great speed. But he's tough runner and so good in between the tackles that once we took the power play away and the counter, then it settled them down quite a bit.
Well, certainly we saw some bone-jarring tackles from Big Mike. Also, Michael Buchanan got in there. Little brother Colton Edwards had his shots, and it was nice to see Carrington Ashley back at that middle linebacker position. He looked like he was ready to go.
Yeah, it was good to have Carrington back leading the defense, but the big thing too is and I was really proud for Colton because, last year he came in and they found him hurry. He wasn't expecting to play last year. Mike went out with a concussion in the second quarter, and he was thrown into duty, and I know this was a big one for him to come back and have a great game. I think that, last year Devin Hillman didn't have the best game in this game last year, and I thought he just had a tremendous game the other night with the 111 yards receiving, and then also defensively he was outstanding, had 7 tackles, and probably the big one is in that last drive whenever he jarred the ball, because it was a great pass, and it was there, and he jarred the ball loose from the guy, and just a tremendous hit and, preserved the win.
Well, it takes all parts of the game. It takes offense, it takes defense, and even in last Friday night's ballgame, it took special teams, including a special 98-yard kickoff return. Let's go to our video highlights and take a look at some of the exciting moments of Ruffer football here from last week's game against Sand Springs. As Ruffer staked the field, got a nice little ground shot there, Coach. Our Ruffer TV crew does a
great job. Here we are flying around. What I like to see is all the white jerseys around him, and again, I think this is our first score. It was 13-0, and then getting to Deontay, and
separation.
It's amazing how fast the kid really is. Getting a little ground level. Here's for his second score down there on our sideline. This made it 13-13 because we missed our first extra point as well. Defense swarming around, getting a turnover here. Here's where they'd called us after we'd scored. They said we fumbled the ball and they gave it to them on the 1-yard line. But wow, how the defense responded and kept them back there. I just like the way that we're flying around. Jacob making a one-handed grab there. That's still when we had some high snaps. Is that Devin? Yeah, Devin coming through here and getting a big first down. I think that was a 20-yard gain when we had about 3rd and 13. Did a really good job, I'll be honest. I was a little worried about the option, but we shut the option down all night long.
Perfect.
And there's the play that, he just drops it in. You had to do that from an airplane just to drop it straight in there. But they had great coverage. Speedy come in and the great pass.
This is a great catch, too.
It is. DJ Mays has had struggled a little bit early in the year with some injuries. He's getting healthy, and what a great catch there. And then he comes up here shortly with another one. Big Mike, he had 2 sacks on the night. I think he's up to 14 sacks on the year. Here's the other one that right here, DJ gets behind him, great pass and catch. And again, it's just so good to see DJ having a great night and getting a couple of touchdowns. There's one of Devin's hits, and he has several more in the night. He's catching the ball here. This is about a 41-yard gain.
Excellence on both sides of football.
Here's the big play. They'd just taken the lead at 34-30, and their kicker is trying to put it in. And luckily, like I said, he didn't have another yard or two. But you can see this is a great show right here as far as you see the lane. And, of course, once he hits the outside, then they're not going to catch him. But up to the 50-yard line, it was some great blocking on their part.
Coach, I'll be honest with you. We had our videographers on the roof. And I wasn't sure that the roof wasn't going to come tumbling down because there was such a burst of excitement from the Ruffer TV crew with their jubilation as all of us, Nick and myself, on the call of the game. And as I looked at the sidelines, I was trying to see which one of your assistant coaches was trying to keep up with Speedy. He started out pretty good, and I really couldn't tell which one it was. I don't know if it was Coach Blassingame or if it was J-Mac.
I doubt either one of those could stay up very long at all. Coach Dvorak's young, and that's kind of his specialty is a kickoff return. So it's probably Ryan Dvorak that was catching up and being younger, he could keep up for a while. Those other two not going to last long.
Kai Stanley was down there too.
Kai can run still a little bit,
but
yeah.
Nobody was going to catch Speedy that night because he was going to the house for 6 points, and as it turned out, it was the go-ahead touchdown, and then the second of 2 field goals on the night by Manuel Espinosa set up the final score. When we come back, we're going to go 2 for 1. Normally we have one guest. Today we'll go the dynamic duo, Muskoge's version of Batman and Robin, Jacob Medrano and Deontay Speedy Crutchfield will join Coach and I when we come back here on TV 15. Welcome back on TV 15. Bill Huddleston with head coach Rafe Watkins. And Coach, between us, we've heard of Batman and Robin. I think we've got Muskoge's version of that, the dynamic duo, Jacob Medrano and Deontay Speedy Crutchfield.
We do. These two have become prolific in there together with the passing game, and Jacob's up over 2,000 yards passing now, and I think Speedy's just under 1,000 yards. He got about 970-some yards and 15 touchdowns receiving. So the other night had a great game against Sand Springs, needed every one of their yards. Jacob was over 420 yards of passing. Speedy, I think, had 181 yards of receiving, and then had the 97, 98-yard kickoff return, which was huge at the time, and Forrest will get the win.
Jacob, you two guys kind of have a unique combination and a communication between the two of you. I know the play's not always designed to go to Speedy, but I have to think in your progression of reads, you're looking for number 2.
Yeah, when you have somebody that fast against people slow like Sand Springs, sorry to say it, but they're just slow. When you put a safety over the top and he's still burning you down the field and there's something wrong, and I'm going to take that every time.
Now, Speedy, you've gained this nickname, but you've earned it. What is it that gets you to take a 2-yard advantage and turn it into 6 points? I mean, just how are you able to just get that much separation that fast, and you watch defensive backs just say, I give up?
Well, I just run. So,
I mean, coaches, I mean,
Kind of
it's
like
simple.
Forrest, he just runs.
Yeah, just run, Forrest, run. Well, run, Speedy. Now, talk to me about what you're looking when you look in at Jacob when you're out there at the wide receiver. You guys have a little wink, a little nod, a little thumbs up signal, or something that you know that it's my time and let's go with the house.
Don't give the true hand signal
Yeah,
that y'all
no.
give.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a signal.
yeah, there's a signal.
So there is some communication. When you know it's coming your way, does the heart pump a little bit faster? Tell me what's going through your mind, through your body as you try to wiggle free of the defensive coverage. And like Jacob said, sometimes safety over the top. You know you got two coming at you and you got to split it and go.
Well, I just try to burn the corner and safety and just get open.
Now, last Friday night, the game was on the line, and you were back to do the kickoff. You guys had worked on that type of kick return all week long, but what was it you saw when you kind of took your time getting up to the wedge, and then all of a sudden, was it kind of like when they parted the Red Sea in the Bible, and you just saw an open lane and you were gone?
Yeah. I was just reading, trying to focus on where I'm trying to run and stuff. And then once I seen the hole, I just hit it.
Indeed, he did, Coach. I mean, he turned despair into total pandemonium as far as the roughers were
Well, and he
concerned.
did. And, you know, the kickoff return team has so much credit. You know, and Speedy, he did a great job on his own in there as well. But as he said, when he's going up in there, that middle was wide open. And then once he breaks it to the outside, as Jacob said, there's nobody from Sand Springs going to catch him once he gets to the outside. When he finally broke it about the 50 to the outside and had those guys, even with the angles, they weren't going to catch him. And that was, you know, that was the deciding part of the game. Obviously, it made it 37-34 and was fortunate to get another field goal to tack on. But that was huge in the course of the game because they'd regained all the momentum from being down 30-13 to go up on us 34-30. And I'm sure glad that kicker didn't have one more yard in his leg.
Exactly, for sure of that. Jacob, let's talk about your success this season. Obviously, guys like Speedy are making that happen, but you sometimes have had to check off to different receivers. And then we've also seen you trying to put the ball under your arm and hustle upfield, picking up sliding yardage at second base.
You know, it's what you have to do. I mean, last year I didn't do that very much, but this year you got to take what they give you, and that's what I try to do. If nothing's there, I just pull it and try to get what I can. And to all the receivers I have, they're all athletes, you know, except Deontay's he's special one because he's so fast. I mean, 90% of the time when we check the play, like I give him a signal, it's been a touchdown, maybe over 90%. So every time we check it, we know it's going to be a touchdown.
And indeed, obviously, Coach, they're passing that check and
It
balance
is
test.
about half. I think he has 33 receptions and 15 touchdowns. So just about half the time whenever he catches a ball, it's – I'm not a math major, but that's pretty close to half. And, you know, he's going to get a touchdown. So we just – the key to that is we need to hit him about 10 times so he can get about 5 touchdowns, and we'll be in pretty good shape.
Absolutely. Now, guys, with all this success has come attention from the college ranks. And both of you guys have been on several recruiting trips. Finding anything you really like out there, Jacob, or are you still just weighing all your choices?
Not yet. I'm still waiting. Still seeing what I like.
And Speedy, I know you got an offer here recently from Missouri Southern. And did they talk to you about the possibilities of combining football with track?
Well, no, they just been talking about me for football.
You know, is that something you would like to do, to be able to use both sports to your advantage there?
Well, I kind of don't want to run track, but
Oh, Coach David Heath's not going to like that. But it's a long time between now and next spring.
Right.
But, hey, these guys are doing a heck of a job. It's not just these two, because on every passing play, like he said, he's got other receivers running around that are dragging defenders away and the offensive linemen doing their job. It takes 11 on every play, and these two guys are two of those 11 out there that are putting points on the board.
That's right. And, you know, like last week, DJ Mays, I was really proud to figure he had a breakout game and had 2 big touchdown receptions in there and 4 catches. Of course, Devin Hillman had you know, quietly had over 100 yards receiving himself for 111 yards. And then Q, you know, has been coming up and making a bunch of catches. So like Jacob said, he's got some really good receivers to throw to, and Speedy certainly helps the whole thing by stretching the field.
Now, the one question I wanted to ask you, though, is how are you able to deliver the ball between the hands of 2 defenders? I think of one touchdown the other night where there was actually front and back coverage, and Speedy was in the middle of them. And he's not the tallest guy out there, but you were able to just over the top of the hand and lay it right into his hands. How are you able to get that type of delivery?
It's all about rhythm. You know, once I start going, we throw bubble screens to start off the game, and slants start off small, but once I get in a rhythm, it's kind of hard for me to miss a pass. And it's just anticipation. I know he's going to be there. I know he's going to break open. So I wait for the hole to open. I just throw it right over him.
Well, Coach, he's on target. He's kind of like Robin Hood. He's putting it right on the target, and this guy goes up and grabs it just like
Well,
it's.
a good time of the year to be doing that. We've got to have it in the coming weeks, and there's going to be big games for the playoffs and stuff. So, to have these type of young men for us, it sure helps us out a great amount.
Now, Jacob, I want you to turn sideways. Okay.
This way.
Okay. And I want Speedy,
Like
you
it?
look him straight in the eye. Check out the hairdo. I have to think, Coach, the hairdo has something to do with it.
It could. If that's the case, they need to start growing more out. Q needs to start working on that hair for next year.
Absolutely. Jacob Medrano, Deontay Crutchfield, known to most of us as Speedy, joining Coach and I here in this segment. When we come back, we'll talk more Rougher football after this timeout here on Rougher TV. Welcome back on TV 15. Muskogee Ruffers, after the win, Coach, last week have evened your mark at 2-2. Got another one of those, I don't know, good, bad situations with a bye week here in the middle of the stretch run to the playoffs. But now you get a chance to kind of let all the pieces settle out. You take a look at the district standings, and really things are kind of settling down kind of like we thought they would.
It is. You're going into the final weeks here, and we've got Bixby and Booker T both at 3-0 in the district. Sand Springs right now is 2-1 and still shows to be ahead of us since we're 2-2. We've had the extra game in there already, but we're sitting at -9 points. That should grow and go through there. But right now, head-to-head, that's the main thing. And really, realistically, depending on unless there's some upsets, we're probably going to be getting third in the district. And if you looked at the other side, probably heading to Lawton. There's a whole lot of things that still can happen in 3 weeks, including for ourselves. And that's all we're going to worry about is ourselves and getting better. And we've got a Sapulpa team coming in here for senior night. And then we make the long track up to Ponca City and see what we can do up there in week 10. And then let the dust settle and decide where we're going to be going.
No coach really, I think, likes off weeks because you like to maintain consistency. But given the recent rash of injuries, perhaps this off week comes at a get well week status.
It is, and it's a unique week because it's fall break. It falls on fall break this year. And so, we're going to be able to give the kids a little time off. We're going to work hard. We had a good day yesterday. We're going to work hard today and tomorrow. And then we're going to give the kids off Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm going to bring them back in. Since we're giving them Thursday and Friday, we're going to bring them back in Sunday afternoon at 3 and do our normal Monday practice then. And that way, then we can get an extra day then next week, 4 days in to get ready for Sapulpa. But it's going to give them a chance to heal a little bit because we still got, our center out, Clifford, with a concussion. So next week really should be his week to be able to come back if all things go like we expect. And you could see the other night that hurt us a little bit in the snap, and I thought we did a good job blocking, but the snaps were still a little scary for us, and we had to move some people around. But in the long run, that may end up being good for us. I don't know if we had a sequence of where we had the same line in there, back-to-back deals. So a lot of kids coming in and played hard the other night, but it is going to give us a chance to heal up a little bit. It's not like we're on any big roll or anything like with last year. So the time off, I think, is going to be good for us this year.
Well, the Ruffers will have the break this Friday. They'll come back for their final home game of the season a week from this Friday against Sapulpa. But between now and then, Coach and I will be back with a couple of members of the Ruffers next week here on TV 15. For head coach Rafe Watkins, for Speedy Deontay Crutchfield, who just runs, and his favorite quarterback, Jacob Medrano. I'm Bill Huddleston saying so long for now, and as always, it's a great day to be